Hi everyone. I thought since I've been using the vitamins for migraine prophylaxis and the migraine hats for just a little bit of over a year that it would be a good time to actually give you an update on how I've been making out. All right, so here is a look at my migraine tracker, and I was trying to track the barometric pressure cycles here and correlate that to my symptoms. 23 out of 28 days I had a migraine and I had, quite a few symptoms. So this was back in the day when I was tracking the severity on a scale of 1 to 3. You can see there's certain symptoms here that are pretty consistent. So the sinus congestion, the headache. So that's a combination for me of what I call throbby head from the pressure, as well as ice pick head. So usually ice pick is like straight through here. And then on really bad days, it's also like a cross section. As you can see, March, and I'll post a link to like my earlier video from March of 2021 where I was trying to analyze, like crack my code here. So I'm definitely in group 1 where I hit the pain and insanity phase as the pressure is going up. So prodromal as we get closer to the nadir versus the apex, and then it's just like right before we hit the apex of a pressure switch that I can start to see the end of the tunnel. 26 out of 31 days I had a migraine, and as you can see, it was intense. 2021 was a mess. This was actually what prompted me to say, like, enough is enough. I have to do something. So as you can see over here on this side, I was also tracking what I was doing that worked. So sinus rinse, turning on the blue light filters, taking a migraine nap, using the hats, medicine. So at the time I was using the sinus pressure medication, but then once I started using the vitamins, then rather than the sinus medication, that turned into just taking the strongest Tylenol you can get over the counter. April 2021 this was interesting because what I was trying to do was just, with the colored bars, track how long I was in a prodromal phase, how long I was in the headache phase, and how long the postdromal phase was. And 19 out of 30 days had a migraine. Okay, so May, so things started calming down. This got a little too time consuming to track, so I just stuck with the trackers this way. 9. So by this point, the pressure changes began to stabilize. June was just 1, 2, 2.5. And then July. Now I only had 6 though, so that wasn't too bad. And I think this was around the time I started switching to a 5-point scale. Anything above 3, and it's like, maybe I should reschedule lessons. And now, as you can see, the symptoms are not as much. And then the remedies. I stopped tracking these after a while because, if you're using the same things over and over again, we're just automatic now. August to December, I actually switched to this format just because I really wasn't having that many until that switch to fall to winter again, where the pressure was quite volatile. And I think it was around this time too that I discovered that, light is also a trigger. I mean, this one was definitely light. I think that might have been induced by a video game, actually. What was E? I have no idea. Okay, light. And then what was this one? Oh, that could be jaw. That could be jaw. For the most part, it's a lot milder than before, but the end of December, like after Christmas, I find is quite intense too. So as you can see, I actually found a different website, so I'll drop the link below, where I got a nice long-term forecast. This would have been historically a bad month, but I had 8. Now, as you can see, symptom-wise, it's not as bad as it was back in 2021. So I still get the yawn fast. That's usually the first one, but sometimes I don't notice that right away. Sometimes it's once I combine that with, oh, suddenly the world is like really loud, really bright. Then I start combining and going, oh, perhaps. Dopey head usually happens as we get close to the nadir and then here, close to the apex. So I know that those are times when I should not drive or operate fine machinery or be in close contact with sharp objects. I know that those are times where it's just better to either rest or like completely just shut down, take a nap. February 2022, I only had 8. So from 23 to 8. You might have noticed it was March when I started incorporating the vitamins. Riboflavin, CoQ10, magnesium, vitamin D, but definitely wintertime in the Northern Hemisphere, you're taking lots of D anyway. You need to. So those are the main ones. Yeah. So one other vitamin that I've tossed in is B6 and B12. It helps the body break down your proteins that you've ingested a little bit more efficiently so that you can get the tryptophans, which my migraine brain really likes. I can't remember when I started taking the B6 and the B12. Might have been in the fall, but I did notice a significant drop in the number of migraines. March, where I only had 6. 19 migraine days in 2021 compared to 8. And then May is 9, and then 1 so far. There might have been like another one that snuck in that was so mild that I didn't notice, but it's hard to say. It's definitely proof positive that everything that I had worked in from like March onwards of 2021 has made a difference. Now, one thing I have noticed with the vitamins is that it's a lot nicer to take all of them individually, and then you can adjust. As far as I've been able to tell with the research I've done, you can't really overdose on vitamin B2. You'll just urinate what you don't need out, just like vitamin C. So, but definitely, as the barometric pressure got a lot more volatile, I did find that I needed to increase my dosage from 300 to 400, and then when it was most volatile, I actually did go up to 500 just to keep that brain fog under control. The other thing too that I noticed is as the barometric pressure got a lot more volatile, increasing the CoQ10 helped. Like the regular dose, if you don't suffer from migraines, is I think 300 milligrams a day. I mean, look it up. There's lots of information out there for like how much we should be taking. But for migraines, they're saying at least 400. And I've seen some bottles for 500 milligrams, and that also helps with the brain fog and the severity. So that magnesium is easy to eat what you need. Melatonin, it's easy to eat what you need, or, you know, get your body to produce it by actually having a proper wind down routine before bed. Vitamin D, you can adjust by, you know, getting outside. But if you live in the northern hemisphere like me, then you will have to increase it in the winter time. The migraine hats have been fantastic. I've used 3 different hats. I'll put the cards up there. By far, the best one is the ice cap. So my students are pretty used to seeing me wearing the hats. And they actually know that if I'm tripping on words or starting to complain that things are really bright or really loud, that they can tell me to go grab a hat from the freezer. So I did share my log and my journey with my new NP. So if you're not familiar with an NP, that's a nurse practitioner. I'll put some info down below on that. So she was quite happy with what I've been doing based on what she saw. She figures everything's under control. One, understand your triggers, and that way you can figure out how to mitigate them, because sometimes you can mitigate them, like, I mean, light, sound. I know that on a day when the weather, the barometric pressure is extremely volatile, probably don't play Minecraft. Probably don't play Human Fall Flat. That one's a really bad one. Understand your cycle. If you understand your triggers and understand your cycle, then, you know, it's a little bit easier to do something about it. So yeah, definitely keep a log. This also helps when you go visit a healthcare practitioner. It makes it a lot easier for a healthcare practitioner, whether it's a naturopath or a doctor or an NP, to you know, figure out what's going on if you know, give them data. And just because one treatment works for you for now, it might change. So just, you know, again, keep a log, keep track. And do your research. There's, you know, so many websites, so many resources out there, like Migraine Strong on social media. There's, I think there's a migraine disorders site that I'll pop down, as well as the Migraine Foundation. There's headache centers. So I'll pop those links in the video description. But yeah, do your research, because this is an interesting beast. It's not a normal headache, because it's really just this weird neurological party in your head, which makes your body do weird, crazy things. Join a community. I've been following Migraine Strong on Instagram, and they've got some really interesting posts. Start working with your brain, not against it. So I know which types of weather patterns I'm gonna be like really brain foggy or possibly brain foggy. So I won't put bookkeeping on that day, or recording or editing. Go to bed, eat foods that migraine brain craves. For some reason, in the winter and the spring, my brain loved cauliflower. Now, I know there's lots of vitamins and nutrients there that migraine brain likes, so make sure you have a lot of those migraine brain foods around. Know when it's time to just turn off the machines and just go hang out in your cold, dark room. And that's it. So thanks for catching the video. If you found it helpful, if you have other suggestions, tips, words of advice, things that worked, things that didn't work, drop them down in the comments below, and please hit that like button. Consider subscribing, hitting the notification bell. It really does help the channel grow. And finally, if you'd like to support the channel even further, head over to the Ko-fi page. Till next video, take care and see you later.